man's got fire and a wild hot take. Andrew's stats make the whole place shake. Laughing loud when your team goes down. Straub boys run this sports town. Show! Sundays, Mondays, we live for the fight. College game day and Thursday night. Rivals fall and the banter flies. We bleed our teams till the day we die. S-T-R-A-U-E. Two loud mouths and a love for the league. From Cleveland roots to the world we go. This is the Straub Bro Sports Show. Show.
Welcome everybody to the Straub Sports Show, as the song says in it there itself. Welcome to the best damn sports show in the land. I'm just calling it out with the best damn theme song in the land. Shout out to Pops. Pops is in the building. Moms is in the house. Taylor, we appreciate the love as well. You damn right. We in the house, baby. We are rolling. Straub, I'm going to give a bunch of credit to you, but before I do that, again, we're 2 weeks in a row now. Lots of love for Lil Straub. But before we do that, Lil Bro, how we doing?
It's weird, I want to say, because we went from a Tuesday show last week to a Thursday show this week, and after going to a week basically for 4 months, 5 months now, having that big of a gap was just weird. I've missed this.
I missed it too. Your nephew was not happy. I told him I had a show. He was like, I'm like, come on, dude. We're down to 1 a week. Man, we got a lot to talk about. It's cold. No weather report from you. No weather report needed.
It hasn't changed.
Yeah,
it hasn't changed.
Newsflash, it's still very, very cold. And yeah, that's what I got on there. Drew, as of about 20 minutes ago, the NBA trade deadline ended. And yes, we missed you guys as well. The trade deadline ended. And Big Bro's got some gloating to do. Okay. Now, we're a day late, so everybody already knows about the Cavaliers trade. But let's rewind a couple weeks, even a couple months. And I kept talking about how this core four of Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell, Jared Allen, and Evan Mobley had run its course, that the time was done. And it needed to be broken up. And the weakest link in the core four was Darius Garland. And I feel like we needed to move on from him. And I threw out guys like Jimmy Butler. This was last year. And Jimmy Butler got traded. And then this year, I threw out different names. And one of the names that I threw out was James Harden. And there was a collective groan from the comment section to you, everybody. Okay? And you were not alone in this. Nobody agreed with me when I mentioned James Harden. And then the Cavaliers listened because they have an owner who's won a championship, unlike all the other owners in the city. And he knows one thing about basketball that has reigned true for pretty much every NBA championship that has ever existed, and that is stars win championships in the NBA. Now, whether or not you rank him in your top 5 or top 10 or top 15, what I know is James Harden is a star. So the Cavaliers went out and shipped Darius Garland and some picks to the Clippers, 2 picks. To the
a second round pick, I should say. Sorry,
a second round pick to the LA, not the Los Angeles Clippers. They're referred to as the LA Clippers. To the LA Clippers for James Harden. Okay, Drew. Before I give you the floor here, because you We're not happy about the trade, and I'm very interested because I do not know yet how you feel about this trade. We've kept this secret. The Cavaliers now have a guy who can go get a bucket, who does not need a screen. He doesn't need anything. He'll take your screen, but he doesn't need it. He can go get a bucket. And what this team has lacked in the playoffs was down the stretch a guy who could just go, give me the ball. Now, you have your criticisms of James Harden about his inconsistencies, and all that is fine. At the end of the day, he hasn't done it with another guy next to him like Donovan Mitchell. You can talk about Kyrie and Durant. It's a different type of player. And now he's got him a big he can dish off to with Evan Mobley and Jared Allen. Drew, I love this trade, and I can go more in on it, and I will, but I'm curious to know how you feel about it.
Yeah, so I think the past 24 hours, 48 hours? Between that. A lot of thoughts about this trade has kind of gone through my head, trying to get a full grasp of how I felt. Because initially, regardless of who was on the receive or on the, I guess, the giving end, my thoughts on James Harden are very much based on what he has left in the tank, right? Mm-hmm. Because while he may be a top 5 player name-wise, I think the skill level that he has now, I think, puts him more in the top 15, top 20, maybe lower, depending on what you get from him that night. However, the more I think about it, the more from a pure matchup perspective, I think James Harden fits this team and fits this scheme by Kenny Atkinson more than Darius Garland does. And what do I mean by that?
Break it down.
When Darius Garland was back or was drafted back in 2019, this was a regime under JB Bickerstaff that was very much a drive and kick or pick and roll, drive and get the ball to your bigs offense, which fits Darius Garland to a T. He was herky-jerky with his movements. He was able to get inside, pass the ball out to his bigs, and get ball movement moving. Since Kenny Atkinson has come in, you can tell that Garland has fully not adapted to the style of offense that Kenny wants out of him, which is a running off of screens, catching and shooting, and being more of a scorer than a facilitator. Because Kenny Atkinson doesn't rely on playmakers, he relies on scorers. The reason why this trade is growing on me is because that is what James Harden does. James Harden scores the basketball. He can facilitate. He does. He's 25-8 this year.
Third in the league in assists. I think that's a pretty good facilitator.
Yeah, but I mean, in the LA Clippers, he is the main guy. Kawhi can score, but he's the ball mover. So
25.4 a game, 8.1 assists.
Yeah, so it could be inflated. We'll see. But we over James Harden's career, we know he can score. And so, looking at this trade, if James Harden can play a role that is primarily scoring, but also can facilitate to the other guys via the pick and roll or coming off screens or setting screens, at the end of the day, this is a net positive for the Cavaliers because you are basically bringing in a guy that fits your system better, that when it comes down to it has shown that in big moments he can step up, what Garland has not.
And don't get me wrong, James Harden's had some, and this is what I love to be able to say because the Cavaliers haven't had this. James Harden's had some game 6 and game 7 collapses.
Sure.
This team can't even get to that point. And what I'm going to harken back to, because no, is he putting up the 30 points a game that he put up in Houston? No, he's not that guy anymore. However, what they tried to do in Brooklyn was make a big three. It didn't work. What they tried to do in LA was put a big 2.5 together. Okay. This team, the way it's built, is basically that Rockets team, but better, because he's got a guy right next to him in Donovan Mitchell who can take the handle on scoring, and watch them stagger their minutes as well, where they're both going to start the game and they're both going to finish. But there's going to be periods throughout the second and third quarter where Donovan Mitchell will just be out there and then James Harden will just be out there. And I can't believe I get to talk about a superstar on this team. Sorry. I love Donovan Mitchell and I love Evan Mobley. This is different. And for Cavalier fans, and I'm kind of talking to my mama here too. Love you, Mom, because she's not happy about the trade. You knew what it took to win with LeBron. You had the best player in the league year in, year out. And every Cavs fan said the same thing. He needs another star with him. All these other teams have 2 guys. He needs a second guy. And then every team had 3 guys. So you had to get him 2 more. Every team had it. So for me to be sitting here week after week for 2 years, or month after month for 2 years, and say, you need to get a star. This team's not going to win. And here, no, you got to let, and I know you were one of them too, and I'm not trying to pile on you. No, you got to let, no. I don't need to let anything ride. They got to the playoffs. It didn't work. It was time to blow it up. I love this. This reminds me, like I said, of that Houston team, but better, because Donovan Mitchell can have big games. Evan Mobley can have big games. And James Harden, throughout his career, all of the scoring gets mentioned. But if you really dive in and you're a basketball lifer or a basketball nerd, you know how underrated of a passer this guy is. And he is going to elevate Evan Mobley, and he's going to elevate Jared Allen and these other guys on the field, court, in a way that Darius Garland could in spurts. And don't get me wrong, James Harden's not a lockdown defender, but he's also not the liability that Darius Garland became on both ends of the floor. And now this is a Cavaliers team where Donovan Mitchell is the smallest player in that starting 5 now. And that is a huge step in upgrade when you have got to go against Boston, when you've got to go against, if you were to make it against a team like Oklahoma City or Denver or whoever else, or whoever you're battling in the East. Now you have some help. And this is still a deep team at guard.
Yeah, so
sorry.
No, you're fine. I think the biggest question, or one, I wish Nick was in the chat right now because he'd have a lot to say about this, but it's fine. The biggest thing that I think people why they were hesitant on trading was because we had still yet to see the full potential of Evan Mobley and Darius Garland. And so while we knew Donovan Mitchell was a bona fide star, and this team, and he was that guy, number one, we have to remember that Donovan Mitchell came on this team immediately after Darius Garland, Evan Mobley, and Jared Allen went to the All-Star game. And so people didn't want to get rid of those assets when we didn't know how high they could get. I think doing this now makes sense because Evan Mobley has not taken the massive step that we wanted him to. Jared Allen has very much been stagnant, and up until his 40-point game the other day, has kind of been on a decline this season. And Darius Garland, we've never got to see his true potential because he's never been healthy enough to truly have that stretch of games. And so whether or not this James Harden move pays off, because obviously the consistency, we have to see the locker room effect it has, because obviously James Harden, we've heard stories. Obviously, we don't know the full thing, but we've heard stories. Whether or not this works out, a risk had to be taken, because for as much as the core 4 that we talk about has been, this core 4 hasn't made an Eastern Conference final yet. And so something had to be done to figure something out, because we ran this team last year. It was amazing, and they fell short because they couldn't get it done. And this team has looked worse this year.
100% agree. Something needed to give. They tried to go for Giannis. It wasn't going to happen. It didn't happen. So they
For
went and
anybody,
got
yeah.
the next best guy available. And I cannot, for all of the crap that we give the Cleveland Guardians for being so cheap, the Cavaliers are the only team in the second apron right now in the NBA and still went out and got a top 15 superstar.
Yeah.
Now, there's something else. First of all, shout out to my guy Rico McGee of the Sports Minute. I appreciate you, my guy. Secondly, I love the James Harden trade. I really, really like and really love the picking up of Dennis Schroeder as well, because the one thing this team was missing, and I'm going to harken back to the first half of the first year of Ricky Rubio, when Ricky Rubio was running the second team, and we were like, wow, that veteran guy to come off the bench and light it up and have a big game, and a 6th, 7th guy in the playoff rotation that you know is going to come in and give you quality minutes when a guy needs a rest or fouls. That's what this team needed. And then he blew out his ACL, and he kind of had a different career trajectory with us. That's what Schroeder provides. It's when James Harden needs to come out, when Donovan Mitchell needs to come out, or even third quarter, fourth quarter, we need a defensive stop. Now you've got some guards that can really put the clamps on guys and really take care of some things. And you don't have to sacrifice offensive production like you used to have to when you had Darius Garland. Schroeder can come in and hit shots, but then you also can have Donovan Mitchell there without an issue and to protect, and you can have James Harden there to protect him as well. I love that pickup as well.
Yeah. I think the biggest key here is this was to make up for not re-signing Ty Jerome.
Yeah.
Because listen, the kid's averaging 22 and 7 at Memphis right now. Kids kill. I think Memphis picked him up for pennies.
Yep.
We 100% could have re-signed him. But one, for that production, but two, for what we gave up. DeAndre Hunter post Ty Jerome has not looked like the DeAndre Hunter that was on that second team with Ty Jerome kind of leading that second unit. And so you give up someone who wasn't meshing with the team anymore in terms of kind of on field. You allow Jalen Tyson now to kind of have free reign in that small forward position, as he's absolutely just lit it up this season, which is fantastic. And now, like you said, you add that veteran backup point guard presence again in Dennis Schroeder, and you pick up a very high ceiling forward in Keon Ellis that I think maybe isn't a part of the big picture now, but in a year or two, when some things have to be done, kind of in terms of re-signing guys or kind of making some moves, that's someone that could potentially be, at the very least, a good trade asset.
And I think, and I know they were working on different deals. I wonder, had they have gotten James Harden first, what would have happened with DeAndre Hunter? I know some money needed to get moved around and things like that, and he was clearly unhappy as well.
And it was worth a lot of money.
Right, and didn't want to be here. But I think and here, I made a negative comparison to the Guardians. I'll make a good one this time. They messed up not re-signing Ty Jerome. What they're doing this year with Jalen Tyson is, okay, we had an opportunity with Ty Jerome to give him a bigger role, and we kind of waited, and then we gave it to him too late, and we tried to rely on him in the playoffs, and it didn't work. I think the mindset here is, we've got a good thing going. Let's give this kid the role now, and so then come playoff time, he's actually ready. And I like that, because now you don't have to just rely on one guy. And that's the biggest thing. I loved the trade deadline for the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Can we go to my favorite trade?
Yes.
My favorite trade was honestly what I thought was a way to potentially clear up some space for like a Giannis trade or something like that, but was just to clear cap space in a MLB baseball move. Yep. The Cavs trade Lonzo Ball and 2 second-round picks to the Utah Jazz for salary cap space. We did not get a single thing back. And Ken, if I'm being completely honest, I am more than okay with that. Lonzo was one of those players that we bought low on, and even then the stock tanked even further.
Yeah.
And you needed to clear the space. He was $10 million on his contract, was not worth it. He was going to be the third string point guard, and even then he needs to be a volume shooter to be any effective, and he just wasn't.
It's sad because I like Lonzo. I wanted it to work out. It just the legs are gone, and I feel bad for the kid because it wasn't his fault. It's not like he washed out of the NBA because he didn't play well. No, the shoes were bad and the injuries came to get him there. Utah, man, got a good relationship. Dan Gilbert just calls up his boy down over there in Utah, doesn't matter who it is, and they work some deals out. I love it. Some other notable news around the NBA, as you said, Giannis did not move. Ja Morant did not move. So there was some other odd end trades. I don't care about any of them. I do have one for you though. Drew, have you seen the social media guy, the time traveler? The guy who dresses like he's from like 2005, 2006, and 2007, kind of my high school years, and he like goes to places dressed like that, and it's a whole thing. I don't know what year it is, but shout out to the Washington Wizards. They went out and got Trae Young. They went out and got Anthony Davis. They're coming for the Eastern Conference next year, man. I don't know.
I mean, if I'm being honest, both players, well, okay, not Anthony Davis because he hasn't. They literally, the three, like him, Kyrie, and I can't remember the rookie's name. Haven't played a game together, like all of them together, and he
Cooper
played
Flag?
one game.
Yeah,
Cooper Flag. And him and Kyrie have played one game together, so it's not like it didn't work out there. So I don't know why they got rid of him. But
go ahead. I don't mind Dallas moving on from Anthony Davis because
I just didn't think there was enough tape. I don't know, but
I get you.
But Trae Young obviously needed to change of scenery, and so I think this is the Wizards going, we need to do something. We've sucked for 10 years. So we'll see what happens there. But the last thing I'll say is that there is a certain Akron native that is at the end of his contract at the end of the year that would fill in very nicely in that small forward spot. And I think Jalen Tice would be more than okay with one last ride right before a retirement tour. Just saying.
Oh, wow. We almost had an absolute disaster here on the Straub Sports Show. First of all, shout out to Morgan, player and general manager for my Cuyahoga Falls Rapids, for knowing who I was talking about. This too, they got an insane amount for Anthony Davis. And on that, and then I'm going to touch on what you just did. If Trae Young plays at Trae Young's highest level and Anthony Davis is healthy, that's a team in the Eastern Conference that is probably
a 3, 4, 5 seed.
Yeah, that is in contention for a playoff seed. What Trae Young are you getting? You're getting a motivated Trae Young, supposedly, now that he's in a new place. What kind of health are you getting out of Anthony Davis? I don't have a coin, but I'll flip this because that's basically where it is at that point.
And it has been reported that neither of them are going to have a significant role this year, so they're all waiting until next year. So Washington is bottom 3 in the league. You're going to get a good pick because this class is absolutely stacked this year. So you pair a young rookie with those two guys and they play up to their potential. That's a dangerous team.
Ooh, the Boozer kid on that team. Secondly, His Holiness, LeBron James. Drew, the rumors have absolutely heated up, and I hate this because this is what happens every time the Cavaliers start to get good. It immediately becomes, well, when's the run coming? He is at the end of his contract. The Lakers have said they want to re-sign him. At this point, LeBron has built an empire in LA, so it's very hard to see that happening.
Just retirement tour, 1 year. That's all I ask.
This is I find this funny only because This guy here and you, I had to make sure I was going the right direction, are normally my pump the brakes. We don't need LeBron. We don't need to do this, guys. And everybody is just all in on this. I mean, F it. Why not? Why not?
Because
Why
I will say
not?
in previous years, it's been we have to trade for LeBron. And
Uh-huh.
I'm not trading anything for LeBron.
Yep.
We get him as a free agent for 1 year loan. He goes right back to LA. Hey, he still has a home here. He's still got a home in Akron, Ohio.
Mom's here.
Mom's here. Mom will come to the games. And imagine a James Harden, Donovan Mitchell, LeBron James, Evan Mobley, and Jared Allen lineup.
I think we'd be moving on from potentially a Jared Allen starting role there at that point, but that's another conversation.
But also, yeah, blame John Cena because retirement tours are in right now.
Right, retirement. Well, I blame John Cena because it's John Cena's fault.
Even Dad says, "Why not?" That's how you know we're on a roll.
Wow. Okay, I'm in. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's sign LeBron and let's go James Harden, Donovan Mitchell, LeBron James, Evan Mobley, and whoever else. Who cares at that point?
Who cares? Yeah, who cares?
Call Charles Barkley, see if he wants to try to win a ring. Let's do it.
Dwight Howard's still in China, right?
Yeah, fine. Why not? Why not? I don't care.
Nelly's still playing in Australia.
Is Boogie Cousins available for 5 minutes a game? I don't even care at that point. We're just gonna put all of my favorites that haven't won a ring.
Richard Jefferson can get out of the booth into the game.
Melo. If that's the case, I want Melo. I'm just saying.
put him on the post for like 2 minutes and just have him just
see this. And this is what happens. They'll trade for Bronny with a second round pick. First of all, I will be pissed about that. They'll draft Bryce and Bron will sign as a free agent. Then Mitchell, Harden, and Mobley here. Oh man,
team of the world. Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm done. All right, we're done.
Is T Mac still got the legs under him?
Stop. No, actually, he doesn't.
No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't.
Okay, I love T Mac and all, but no, he doesn't. All right. Pause. We're gonna take a quick break.
Yeah.
And then when we come back, it's time for the Super Bowl preview. Drew has all the numbers you need. I've got all the odds you need. Super Bowl 60 preview on the way.
Today I want to talk to you about Ani's Army Foundation. Started by Mark and Lynn Meyer to honor their daughter Annika, Ani's Army Foundation was formed to raise money for the research of medulloblastoma tumors and other pediatric cancers, while making a positive impact on the community and helping those families in need. Here on the website, anisarmy.org, you can follow Ani's story, a story of strength and the love that her family has with her and she has with them as she fights this battle. Here on the website, if you can, please donate via Venmo, credit card, PayPal, cash, or check. Any donation is loved and any donation is appreciated. Thank you.
Welcome back to the Straub Sports Show. I can't get you on the screen, bro.
You can't add me today. I don't know what's going on.
You're just we got too many graphics. You're just out of my reach, and it keeps messing up. So I put myself up here all by myself, staring scarily into the camera way too close. First of all, this is I'll end with this one because we'll just put LeBron and MJ together on the same. Let's just end all the debates.
Yeah, end the debate.
All right. Drew, Super Bowl week. It's all any sports show that you are on, minus the NBA show, now that it's wrapped up, they're going to talk the Super Bowl. It's Super Bowl week. It's time to talk about the Super Bowl. But before we talk about the Super Bowl, you have forced me to answer a question that I fought you on and didn't even want to talk about. But coaching carousel, we have finally locked in all of our jobs.
Yes.
So you get to finally update your graphic to the end.
Absolutely. And listen, it came in spurts, obviously the first like 3 or 4, and then the middle 3, and then the final 3 kind of went all together at once. We talked about the top ones. We don't need to talk about the bottom ones, other than obviously the one that everyone in the chat cares about, and that is the Cleveland Browns signing Todd Monken, Ravens offensive coordinator, to the head coaching position. Ken, obviously, you know my initial response because I was very angry in the group chat when we did it. However, I wouldn't say I've come around on it, but I have become less agitated at the decision, and I'm gonna tell you why.
Ooh, okay. Well, it is worth noting that upon hiring Todd Monken, you officially also then lost your defensive coordinator, as it was reported
Yes.
that basically Jim Schwartz packed up his his stuff, told y'all to F off, and walked out the door. I will say I was impressed with Todd Monken's little quote in the press conference, talking about how coaches were scheming for Myles Garrett, not for Jim Schwartz.
Ooh.
Excuse me. Which I liked. However, I mean, a coach's scheme is just as important because of where he puts those players. However, I don't know, man. I really don't know.
Here's my thoughts. The finalists for the head coaching positions were Todd Monken, Nate Steelhouse, Jim Schwartz, and Grant Udinski. Right?
Yeah.
Out of all four of those candidates, the only one that was hired was the one we did. So I can't say that another candidate was better.
I'm sorry for the jingling, by the way.
It's fine because none of the other ones got hired. Right. So I can't say that, oh man, like so and so hired this guy, so I can't, do it. Or I wish we would have gotten him. Also, Jim Schwartz was insanely talked about for the San Francisco defensive coordinator job. They hired another one right away. As soon as was it Clint Kubiak, I think?
Yep.
Went away. So it's not like Jim Schwartz was this massively looked upon guy either. So I can't say Todd Monken is worse than any of the other ones because none of them got hired. But what I can say is that this feels like a hire that reeks of not wanting to completely rebuild and not wanting to put the money in to rebuild a franchise again when you just re-signed Myles Garrett to a massive contract extension.
Well, first of all, you shouldn't be rehauling the entire organization and team. All you need to do is retool your offense. You are one good offseason away from looking like the Chicago Bears last year, right, and into this year. So let's set that aside. I'm going to answer the question.
Let me finish something real quick.
Go ahead.
I'll finish my thought. So I think that the decision was between Todd Monken and Jim Schwartz in the final search. And I think how much we hate him doing this. Jimmy Haslam put his hand in and said, I want this guy, and picked Todd Monken for some reason that we probably will never know on maybe 10 years down the line. And so am I upset at the pick? No. But am I surprised that we went with an older guy that was on the side of the ball that we need help on, regardless if he's going to be a bunch of new ideas and successful? No.
All right. So as I said, I don't think you need to overhaul the team. That's why you went with a guy who's not going to be there to overhaul the team. I'll say this. The two teams that were at the bottom with you, the Vegas Raiders and the Arizona Cardinals, I'm not sure about Clint Kubiak. I actually really like the Mike LaFleur hire for Arizona, like a lot. if they decide to really truly move on from Kyler Murray and get him a quarterback, I think that could be really good. And I even think there's a chance that if Kyler Murray was to stay, he could actually bring the best back out of Kyler Murray. But I'd prefer them to move on. I think if you're a Cardinals fan, you'd want them to move on. But I like that hire. I'm going to shock you, and then I'm going to try to rush you past this because I want to talk about the damn Super Bowl already.
Absolutely.
I think right now, the Browns have the best coach in the AFC North.
Wow. Well,
I-
low bar. Low bar.
I understand that. However, best coach in the division wins you the division. Ask Mike. Ask the two teams that have won your division, minus the fluke Joe Burrow year. And I know you're not the Bears, Ray, and I know you're the Cleveland Browns. However, we were talking about the Bears being that for decades, and now they got a guy and they figured it out, and it started with a coach. I did start with the quarterback, but it started with a coach. You have an opportunity to figure out what you have, Shador. You have an opportunity to get a guy maybe next year. However, I don't like the Mike McCarthy hire. I already talked about it. I think it's a bad hire of trying to think that you can go with a veteran and a veteran is okay. I think Mike McCarthy is on the end or past the best years of his coaching career. I don't know anything about Jesse Minter to be able to be like, that's a good hire. I'm not sure about it.
That's fair.
We already know what's going on in Cincinnati. We don't need to mention it.
Oof.
I think this is a good hire.
I agree with you because I think there are certain teams. Like if you look at this, there are certain teams that need a complete rebuild: Cardinals, Raiders, Pittsburgh, Miami, and then there's some teams that have the tools and just need a leader to kind of mesh that together. The Giants, the Falcons, the Ravens, and the Browns.
Yes.
And so I know we wanted this
you could
big
argue the
flash.
Titans too.
Yeah, and I know we wanted this big flashy hire of a new offense, a guy who is unlooked at and is going to completely bring new ideas and is fun and exciting. But the Todd Monken hire makes sense because he's an experienced offensive coordinator that can get an offense moving and has a defense that truly can stop and disrupt games enough that if the offense is even marginally better, is going to win much more games than they did last year. Now, real quick, before we move on, top 3 hires of this carousel, bottom 3 hires of the carousel.
I don't know about, I'll go Ravens, Steelers, and Miami at the bottom. I've already said number 1 off the board. I love the John Harbaugh to New York hire. I think that's a great hire. I'm going to vault this probably up to 2nd or 3rd. I really like Robert Saleh in Tennessee. I like Mike LaFleur in Arizona. That is such a bad job, but I think he's good enough to be able to figure things out there and turn it around. I think the Falcons, the Bills, and the Raiders are all kind of in the middle. I put the Browns on the positive side as well.
I think there's some coaches that I think it's let's see what you got, and so I can't put like a top or bottom. I think that's a Mike LaFleur. I think that's a Clint Kubiak. I think that's a Jesse Minter and a Jeff Hafley. I love John Harbaugh. I love the John Harbaugh signing. Obviously, I love the Robert Saleh, like we talked about. I'm gonna put Jesse Minter up there because I think I see how Jesse Minter is, how you see Mike LaFleur, and we're just gonna see kind of how that goes. Bottom 3, Mike McCarthy for the Pittsburgh, Joe Brady for the Bills because I think you're not changing anything there, and I think I'm between Kevin Stefanski and between Jeff Hafley, but I'm going to say Jeff Hafley because I think that Kevin Stefanski is a bitterness. And so I'm not going to add it. So I'm going to do Jeff Hafley for the Dolphins just because I didn't see enough of him and that team where he was at to say he can lead this Miami team to bigger and better than Mike McDaniel did.
Kevin Stefanski, is right next to all of the new guys in the Jeff Haley's and the Jesse Minters on a very short leash.
Yes, I agree.
So, all right. And get rid of it. I'm done with this already. I want to talk Super Bowl. Super Bowl 60. Seahawks and Patriots. A rematch of Super Bowl 28. I think. 34. Something. I'll figure that out later. Patriots, Seahawks. Drew, we have two completely different segments to do today. You have all the nerdy stats. You have all of the good stuff that people need to know when watching this game to look for. And I have all the things to fill up your purses, your pocketbooks, your wallets, and your FanDuel accounts. And then in the middle of that, we're going to sandwich together, pause, and break down the game a little bit and give our picks.
Yes.
I will give you the floor. Bro, bust out the spreadsheet. Oh, by the way, I wanted to give some love to Sterling. We were rambling back and forth. Shout out to my guy Sterling, as always. Go ahead, bro.
Absolutely. This is my favorite time of year because when it comes to the Super Bowl, everything's so close. It's margins, right? And so you have to look at what you know. And here's what we know. Ken, a lot of these are the same, right? In points allowed, they're 1 and 2. In yards per game, they're 6 and 7. Yeah, I was waiting for that. I was letting you just get that out of there. But there are some differences here. Some major differences here.
Yes.
QB sacked percentage. Seattle, 5.65% and a number 11. It's pretty good. Patriots, 9.8%, which is 28th in the league. Very, very bad. So if this Seattle defense can get to Drake May, which history this season says they can, it's going to be very interesting. Secondly, field goal conversion percentage. Patriots are number 24th in the league, but they're 4th in the league in opponent field goal percentage. So they're going to miss some, but they're going to potentially cause Seattle to miss, which, listen, in a close game like most Super Bowls are, that's huge. And finally, giveaways. Seattle ranks 31st in giveaways at 1.5, while the Patriots are 10th in 1.1. Turnovers, massive swings of momentum could change a game. Seattle is more inclined to be giving away the ball than the Patriots are. Could be a huge impact in the game.
Andrew Straub, what you hope for in the Super Bowl is that it's the culmination of all your good games and you play a great game. And, sir, you came out and had good games all year and you saved your best for Super Bowl Thursday for us. Because this is amazing. But what you didn't do was what I was scared that you were going to do when you first put this graphic up, was go through each individual stat. Because I know you did this. And I know you did it yourself, but I'm proud of you because you showed up and you brought your A game. I love this, by the way. I was reading through it as you were talking and listening to you. And we'll use this to further the discussion. I don't want to boil this down to two quarterbacks because that would be too easy. Oh, if Drake May's shoulder is okay. I don't know if you've heard reports of the shoulder being banged up. If the shoulder's okay and he outplays Sam Darnold, they'll win. If Sam Darnold plays... No. That's too easy. These defenses are the key. Go ahead.
Ken, you are unintentionally amazing at transitions.
That's what I do.
Because a surprise second slide that I have, some key matchups for the game. First, Jackson Smith and Jigba versus Christian Gonzalez. Best versus best.
Yes.
The other matchup with Diggs and I can't think of the other guy in James. The cornerback plays on the outside or the inside, so it's not always going to be them. In Jigba versus Gonzalez is the entire game. So it's best versus best, 1v1. It's going to be great. 2 and 3 is Seattle's worst lineman versus the Patriots' best D lineman, and flipped. DeMarcus Lawrence versus Will Campbell, Anthony Barr versus Milton Williams. Both disruptors, and whatever tackle plays the better game is going to have a huge advantage in terms of kind of keeping the offense on the field. Fourth, Sam Darnold versus Sam Darnold, because what Sam Darnold are we going to get? You've talked about it all year. Sam Darnold's had some great games. Not as much this year, but in previous years, he's had some really bad games. And so that's going to be the biggest key there in terms of Seattle. But at the end of the day, Ken, I truly believe the biggest matchup of the Super Bowl is Mike Macdonald versus Mike Vrabel, because Mike Macdonald has been to a Super Bowl with Baltimore, a defensive genius, can call a defensive game like nobody else, but he hasn't had the reins like this before. And so what are you going to do when the chips are down? And you have to make a call that's going to win or lose you a Super Bowl. And on the other end, Mike Vrabel, long-term head coach, long-term player, has won a Super Bowl as a player. But when it comes to being a head coach in these pivotal situations, other than this year, has struggled. And even in this playoffs, right? If not for CJ Straub having an awful, awful game, or the Broncos playing in a snowball, things could potentially be different in the Super Bowl matchup. You don't have the weather to affect you in this one. Sam Darnold is most likely not going to play like CJ Stroud, knock on wood. He hasn't shown to do that this season. What are you going to do when you are playing a team that is playing at their best? And how are you going to respond? That's the biggest matchup to me.
Just dropped my pen. That makes me very angry. So first things first, you're killing it today. I'm hoping to match this when we get to the bets. Spoiler alert: I've got 7.
Ready.
I got 7 pages for bets. I'm just
That's insane. That's insane.
Hey, it's the last time of the year we get to bet. I got to go all out. Shout out to Cousin Sal and Bill Simmons. This is my betting inspiration for this. Jackson Smith and Jigba versus Christian Gonzalez. I want a special box just to watch them, because you're going to have to move. The problem is Jackson Smith and Jigba is basically their number 1 and number 2 wide receiver. It's also very hard to move him around when he's the all that you have. So but you're going to have to, you're emptying the playbook. Nothing is left in the tank after this weekend. You've got to empty out all the trick plays. You've got to empty out all of the reverses. Everything's on the table. So they've got to move Njigba around to get him into space and get him open. I'm curious to make sure and see kind of if we can see it, but obviously when it happens, where Christian Gonzalez matches up with them. Does he have help? Does he follow him across the field? We'll see what happens there. The offensive line versus the defensive line. For as good as this Seattle defense is, they do not get a lot of sacks. They stop teams, they hit teams, they get turnovers on the back end, but they do not get a lot of sacks. That could change. However, if that trend continues, that actually does help the Patriots out, because, and we'll talk, I have plenty on this, if Drake May's shoulder is a bit compromised, they're going to lean on that running game. Hopefully you can force them to try to bring pressure, open up some space. Sam Darnold versus Sam Darnold is so well done of you, because it's a key, but then you throw me one of my biggest talking points. This is it. I have said all year I don't believe in Sam Darnold. He had 14 interceptions. That it was the second highest in the league, right next to Geno Smith. So he has turned the ball over. He has to do it in a capacity that doesn't lose them the game. What does that mean? Well, the 21-7 interception is a lot different than the 7-7 interception, or the 21-21 interception. Sam Darnold cannot beat Sam Darnold this week. Sam Darnold cannot throw away this game. He has got to play like he has played the past couple weeks, and he has got to not let the moment get to him. The nice part for Sam Darnold is, while he's dealing with the mental of being considered done and leading this team to the Super Bowl, he got a child on the other side in Drake May, who's only in his second year of football, who has probably well, obviously has barely played enough games to even have been to a Super Bowl, but is here as well. So I love that because that is, I mean, that's one of the biggest keys is how Sam Darnold plays. But the bottom one as well, Mike McDonald versus Mike Vrabel. If Mike Vrabel was the coach of the Seahawks, I don't think we would be having this conversation. I think we would be talking about how the Seahawks are going to run away with this, or or vice versa. If Sam Darnold was over there on the other side, Drake May's still a bit unproven, but Mike Vrabel's a great coach. Now I know, as you said, Mike McDonald. I mean, we might be talking about. I mean, we're just a couple months removed, a couple weeks. I mean, maybe a month or two removed from crowning Kurt Signetti the next coming of Nick Saban and the greatest coach in college football right now. I mean, we might be seeing a guy on the verge of taking over or walking and knocking on that door of the Sean McVays and the other guys saying, "Hey, I'm one of the elite coaches in the NFL." And I think this is, I mean, right here, this is kind of a battle of it because we've kind of already anointed Mike Vrabel that, although he hasn't won anything either. So you've got two coaches who are kind of on the doorstep of being the guy right now. Mike Vrabel kind of more of the fanfare. I mean, number one, he is in New England. They're going to get more because of what they've had just in the recent past. Yeah. It's real easy to kick up those reporters back up into Boston to cover the Patriots. And number two, the success as a player. Any player who's won like Mike Vrabel has is going to get the praise when they become a coach and start winning. So I think that is a huge matchup as well. It's going to be a chess match because on one side, Mike Vrabel has to navigate a young quarterback and keeping his head in the game. And Mike McDonald has to navigate a quarterback who has shown us on the big stages he can give the game away.
Absolutely. And just to just kind of wrap this up at the end here, this game is, I know what we're talking about, but we're splitting hairs here.
Yeah.
Almost every other stat, they're within a couple places of each other. They basically act the same way where their defense is so suffocating. They give their offense enough opportunities to score these points. And so obviously Seattle has had the more impressive playoff run. But if you talk a neutral field, if you talk clean weather, you talk two teams playing at their best, it's going to become who's going to execute in the big moments and who's going to think of the way to win and who's going to think of the way to lose. I think this game is going to be really, really close.
And it could be lopsided either way. It could be a close game. The reason being is these teams have proven to exploit each other's weakness. If you have a banged up or not playing well Drake May, and this Seattle defense starts to suffocate them, Sam Darnold's going to win MVP. We'll talk about that. But Sam Darnold's going to light them up, and the Seahawks are going to roll to a victory. Not having Charbonnet is absolutely huge. I'm not going to lie. They're going to but this is what I talked about earlier. You've got to empty the playbook. The trick plays, the gadget plays, the things that keep Kenneth Walker either fresh or out of hits or a chance to open up a scoring play without him on the field and maybe a fullback in, something crazy, something wild. Those are the things that are all on the table when you don't have Charbonnet in, you don't have that guy in there to give Kenneth Walker a breather. The Seahawks, if that defense is able to suffocate the Patriots offense, that Seahawks offense is going to run and throw all over that Patriot defense at some point. And on the flip side, you take the snow game out, you open up the field, you have some nice weather, and you allow Drake May 2 quarters to figure out your defense. By the third and fourth quarter, Drake May's going to start putting points up on your defense. And this Seattle team, if it gets close and tight like that, that's when all of and listen, any other game you could probably say, well, yeah, he may not feel. Sam Darnold's going to feel that pressure. 28-28, 24-24, whatever it might be in the third quarter going into the fourth, as that Patriots offense is starting to gain steam. So that's why it is a coin toss because, yes, we can talk about how good the Seattle defense is. We can talk about how good the Patriots defense and offense has been, but this is still dependent on a young quarterback and an unproven quarterback who's actually proven more bad than good. How will they adapt to those defenses and those two good head coaches scheming?
Absolutely. And to just say something real quick though,
Say it real quick.
Charbonnet, or
Yeah.
Charbonnet is out as being bad, but Kenneth Walker stepped up in a massive way in the NFC Championship game, and so if he can repeat that performance or even some of it, the Seattle's going to be okay.
Now, and it's had a lot of fantasy implications. That's why I started reading up on it, because I would have Charbonnet a lot. Kenneth Walker, and just in general, Kenneth Walker's never been an every down back. They're kind of just asking him to do it for the past couple weeks in one more game. So in spurts, he's been able to do that. Now, this is a good point. And I did, for the record, I did snap Nick to try to get him in here for our Cavs conversation. He couldn't answer me until late, so he's in here now for the NFL. But we wanted his Cavs takes too.
Put your thoughts in.
Just throw it in there anyway. Seattle is absolutely hated in that stadium. I know that the Super Bowl crowd is weird though. Because it's not really fans for the most part. Like, there are some, but it's such a corporate event that there's so many random fans in terms of what team that they actually root for. I don't see either team really having too much of a home field advantage, honestly, because no team usually does in the Super Bowl unless they get to play at home. But it's a weird one. But that is true. I mean, when you just have Kenneth Walker, it is easy to plan for. However, Sam Darnold, if he plays the way he's played, he can overcome the game plan for Walker. If he doesn't, Seattle could be in for a long day. But at the same time, on the other side, this could be a low-scoring game if Sam Darnold's not having a great game and Drake May's compromised or not having a good game on the other side. We could be looking at a low-scoring affair, which would just completely destroy the next 7 slides. But that's another thing for another story.
All right.
Anything else? Now, do we want to give our prediction before we go into the bets?
Yeah, I would like to.
So I'm going to put you on the spot there, Drew. Give me your Super Bowl 60 prediction.
All right. Obviously, I'm going to say more than the score because that's just who I am. Obviously, we've talked about Sam Darnold. We've talked about Drake May. We talked about the defenses. I know you put a lot of pressure on, Darnold and May and how they're going to, compete and how they're going to play. I think this game solely rests on how well the run game goes. Looking at it, both teams, while pretty decent in the run game defense, are put their money down in the passing game. They are suffocating in the passing game. I think both quarterbacks aren't gonna be terrible, but are gonna struggle at least early on. The running game of the team that is most successful in the beginning of the game, I believe, is going to win this game. With that being said, I believe with the factors of youth on the Patriots side in terms of quarterback, but on the Patriots side, also experience of potentially getting things wrong in terms of play calling and coaching on the Patriots side. I think the Seattle team is one of the most determined teams that I've seen in a while to get and win a Super Bowl. If we look at, previous Super Bowls, Philly, Kansas City, the Rams, it was mostly talent. It was a surplus of talent and a surplus on the players and the coaching to get them over the finish line. They were too good to lose. This matchup is so close that I truly believe it's going to come down to what team wants it more. And I know that's a very cliche response, and it's a very thing. When games like this, when it comes down to games like this, where two teams, one that is bulldozing everyone and one teams that just wins, when it is so close in these stats and in these games and in this talent, the team that wants it more usually wins. And I believe Seattle is a team that wants it more. You see it in how they play. You see it in the gauntlet that they went through in the NFC playoffs. Give me Seattle 24-20. Drake May throws an interception on the potential game-winning drive to seal it.
So there's multiple paths to go here. You can sell to me as a football analyst and a football broadcaster and a football vice president. You can sell to me the Patriots' way of winning this game. Drake May has the higher ceiling of both quarterbacks. This Patriots defense is really good. Mike Vrabel is the next Bill Belichick, or not. He was coined the next Bill Parcells, not the next Bill Belichick, because he's a bit more on the fun side. Has a little bit more fun. Yeah, if you call Bill Parcells fun. And you could sell me on that. But then I think back to 2 months ago, this Indiana team. It's their season. It's just their year. All of the stars have aligned. All of the pieces are in place. The storyline ending is Sam Darnold figuring it out in the biggest game of his life, in the Super Bowl, and silencing forever every critic, because no matter what, at the end of the day, he won a Super Bowl. There's the cynic in me also that says Sam Darnold throws the interception late in the fourth on the game-winning drive because Sam Darnold is Sam Darnold. But I like my stories. I think this is a close game. I think it comes down to the end. And I actually think the opposite, in a sense. I don't think Drake May loses the game. I think Seattle figures out a way to win the game. Give me the Seahawks 32-28 over the Patriots late.
All right.
Nick's predictions in. Patriots 20-10. Darnold 2 picks. Patriots have 150 plus rushing yards and tires out the defense. That is the game plan.
That is exactly the game
You
plan.
have to wear this out. You have to use both of these running backs. Give me 15 seconds to pause and reset and come back with the most epic gambling segment that we have ever had on the history of the Straub Bros Sports Show.
I am so ready.
Drew, you're going to have to take yourself out this time so that we can get this together. So give me 10 seconds. I need to pull something up on my phone, and I don't want to do it awkwardly on the thing. Give me 2 seconds. I'm going to throw up the rapid schedule, and we'll be back in a second. Yes, sir. All right, here we go. Drew, for partiers, there's days like New Year's Eve and, the day before Thanksgiving and things like that. For gamblers, there's the Super Bowl. Okay. For us degenerates. Now, I know on the Straub Bros Sports Show, the gambling seems to land heavy on the college side. Preferably for me, I have more fun on Saturdays because there's just more games. That's
Sure.
all. I can turn 4-leg parlays into 19-leg parlays, and it's just picking teams. It's fun. But I always put up an NFL parlay. We did very good this year against the spread, but I'm ready to go full out degenerate for you this week, baby.
Let's go.
We'll start with the defense. Now, I'm going to have to put the comments down, so you're going to have to patrol those for me. And my resident degenerate is in the building. So I'll have you patrol the comments for me. We'll start with the defense. Now, I put a lot up here. We're going to stream through it. I'm not going to go through every single thing, but I also wanted to make sure I put in some stuff that had some good odds. No offense. I'm not about to put $100 in to bring back 150 or even 200. It's time to go for it. We've only got one football game left for the year. Now, both of these quarterbacks have been prone to throw interceptions. To record the first interception, Seahawks plus 100, Patriots minus 122. Obviously, Sam Darnold, 14 interceptions. Something I really love, the over 1.5 interceptions on this game. That's just one apiece. One apiece. I love that.
Absolutely.
If you want to bet on most interceptions, obviously, good odds for both teams there. Interception for a touchdown, plus 480. If you want to sneak that in there. A defensive / special teams touchdown, punt return, something in that line's added in. Yes, plus 235. No, minus 300. And we did talk about it. Neither of these teams very high in sack totals. So if you feel like, hey, the defenses are going to reign supreme this week and they're going to get to the quarterbacks, the over for 3.5 and the over for 2.5 on both teams, you can get some good odds there for the defense. How are we looking so far? Are we liking this?
I love the over 1.5 interceptions.
Okay.
And I will add, both teams have one pick six this year.
See? This is what we do. All right. Now, I'm going to highlight the individuals to watch for, the individuals that you're going to put in your parlays. Let's just be honest, okay? Yeah. Now, there's a lot on here, but we don't need to pay attention to all of it. Now.
That's like my stat graph.
Absolutely. We start in the top corner. The offense for the Seattle Seahawks, Sam Darnold. Now, you can throw in whatever you want. These are the things to me that brought out the best odds in the terms of making some money. His alternate passing yards, you see the totals there. If you feel like he's going to light up the Patriots, you're going to get some good money odds. If you feel like he won't, you can still put some things in with some parlays. Passing touchdowns. 2 touchdowns, he's only minus 112. 3 touchdowns, you go to plus 350. An anytime touchdown from Sam Darnold, plus 850. Very unlikely, but still there. His guy, the guy he's got to lean on, Kenneth Walker Jr. I could put in 30 and 40, but come on now. 70 and above is where you start to get into your good odds for him. Anytime touchdown, minus 195, I like. First running back to 10 rushing yards, plus 125. They're going to lean on him. I know the Patriots are too, but something to look out. If you feel like the Seahawks are going, basically when I'm reading these slides, if you feel like the Seahawks are going to win this game, this is what you're leaning on. Also, first touchdown, plus 360. Jackson Smith and Jigba, probably the toughest odds in terms of what you want to go on, because obviously, as you see, you don't get into good odds with him in terms of receiving yards until you get to 80 and up. Obviously, though, he is their number one target. They're going to try to get him the ball as much as possible. Same thing for his receptions, 7, 8, 9. So when you start to get into some of those better odds. Anytime touchdown, minus 110. Obviously, there's no other player on either team that's going to be trying to force the ball in terms of getting to the end zone more than him. That's why those odds are there. First touchdown odds, plus 550. A guy being slept on, but a guy who's come through in the clutch. You want to throw in something before I get there?
Finish the slot. You're good.
Cooper Kupp. 30, 40, 50 yards. If you feel like Cooper Kupp can have one big catch or maybe 2 or 3 big catches, there. His catch odds, drastic heavily. Once he gets to 3 catches and up, we start to get into some really, really good odds. Plus 260 anytime, plus 1,300 for the Cooper Kupp first touchdown. Excuse me.
The one thing I want to put on here, both teams nearly 50-50 in pass and run. Well, Seattle is 50-50. New England runs about 2 or passes about 2% more, which is not normal for most teams. Seattle ranks 31st and New England ranks 28th in pass play percentage because it's near 50%. So get ready for both. Get ready for a very even game for both teams. So one to notice there when we're looking at players.
I love that. All right, 2 sleeper players to not completely ignore, and then some team odds. AJ Barner, 30, 40, 50 yards. If you feel like, hey, in the Super Bowl, they try to lock up your number 1 and number 2 options. Maybe the tight end, maybe the third option starts to come alive. Great odds there for not just receiving yards, but anything past 3 catches, you're already in the positive. First touchdown plus 1,200, and anytime a plus 240. And then can't forget him. He is there. They try to work him in as much as possible. Rashid Shaheed, 20, 25, 30, like I said, on the lower end there. 3 catches, and you're in the positive there for Rashid. An anytime of plus 360, a first touchdown plus 1,800. I like the anytime touchdown, and I also kind of like his rushing overs. They like to try to get him the ball on that little wide receiver run where they hand it off. Wide receivers come in full sprint through the backfield, and they hand it off to him. They like to run that play. Look for that. They haven't run it with Jackson Smith and Jigba, because he has to line up. So look for the Seahawks to run one of those plays, maybe tap into Rashid Shaheed or Jackson Smith and Jigba's rushing overs, because if they're able to break one of those, that might work. Then on the bottom here, just some extra ones to throw in. Total touchdowns for the Seahawks, over 2.5 touchdowns is plus 130. The spread, obviously right now, Seattle favored by more, minus 4.5. minus 235 on the under money line, and the over under right now is 45.5. Some fun one. I mean, you got to just open up your FanDuel account and go wild. I mean, that's the one I use, but DraftKings, whatever you use, just go wild in there. FanDuel, if you want to sponsor us, I'm ready. Some extra ones to throw in. Seahawks to score in all 4 quarters, plus 130. One I really like. If you think Seattle is going to win this game and you think they can win by a touchdown, the spread right now is 4.5. Alternate spread of 6.5 gets you to plus 118. I like that one a lot. And then the Seattle defense, if you think there could be a pick 6, an anytime touchdown of plus 550, plus 3,000 if for some reason they score the first touchdown. That is nuts. All right. So go ahead.
I want to bring that back up real quick. I like the AJ Barner anytime touchdown. I think that's a massive red zone target there. Rashid Shaheed, if you are going to do receiving yards, go big. He either gets very little, like under 10 or 15, or he gets 50 plus. That for me. So if you're going to go with the receiving yards and him, go big. He's their deep threat. That's what it is. And finally, if you are looking at the over-under, my point total is under, yours is over. And so it's very interesting to see kind of how that shakes out.
My graphics are freezing and I can't see anything.
You want me to go next? I can do it for you.
Yeah, can you just put the next one up for me, the Patriots one? I can't.
Oh, that's why. That's why he can't. No worries. I like this. Oh, yeah, he is. Whoa, he completely blacked out here. All good. You got me for this for now while he gets his stuff lined up and back in. This New England team, in terms of betting, I think the major one here that you're going to look at is Stephon Diggs and Ramondre Stevenson. I think Stephon Diggs is going to
slow down.
Yeah,
sir.
I'm spitballing while you were getting your graphics up. All I was saying is I like Stephon Diggs. He's going to be their gotta-have-it guy, and they're going to pound Ramondre Stevenson because that Seahawks defense is susceptible to giving up big plays with the run.
All right, so what I'm going to have to try to do is wing this and load these as I can. Drew, I need to do something real quick because you know how my OCD works. So I need to just get back to what I was doing. All right.
You're good.
Sorry about the technical difficulties. Everything crashed on me and then came right back.
We haven't touched the slide, so
okay,
you're all good.
I just got another thing, so I don't know what's going on over here. In for the New England Patriots offense. Let's keep it rolling. Drake May, same thing. Copy and paste. Just the big names here. Drake May, if you think he's going to have a good game, you start to get some good odds. Passing touchdowns, what I like, 2 passing touchdowns for Drake May is plus 132, rather than still negative odds there on the Sam Darnold side. I'm going to get to Nick was talking about on the next slide. Anytime touchdown for Drake May is plus 280. And then, yes, Ramondre Stevenson, the guy here. I put in a lot of the different ones for the rushing yards. If you think he's going to have a game, 50 plus, 50 yards is not a lot to get. 50 plus, and we're rolling. Anytime touchdown plus 135. If he is the first running back to 10 yards, plus 200 there. First touchdown, plus 750. I like Ramondre Stevenson in a lot of my parlays. I'm just going to throw that out there. You talked about him, Stephon Diggs. A tricky one. As you see, you don't get a lot of odds until you get, to 40 plus, maybe 50 plus yards, but he also doesn't average that very often, at least as we've come into the playoffs. Receptions, similar. You don't get to plus odds until 6+ receptions, but even then, 4 receptions minus 280 kind of depends how you feel in the parlay. I do like the anytime of plus 280, first touchdown plus 1700. Him and Cooper Kupp and some of these other guys have some better odds. Hunter Henry, the guy I think to nail no matter what, because I think if the shoulder is banged up, this is going to be the guy he is looking for when he is passing. 40, 50, 60 on the yard. You see where the odds go there. Receptions, 4 receptions, still some pretty good odds there. I like that a lot. The anytime touchdown of plus 240, I like a lot. In the first touchdown, what I like for Hunter Henry too is the first reception on the Patriots first opening drive too. Think about it. He's a young quarterback. What is the easiest thing to get him to? Finding his tight end right over the middle for something nice and easy. Drew, what do you like on there as I get the next slide loaded?
You didn't have to say it. I was gonna spitball for you anyways. The New England Patriots offense is, I think, less of a, not guarantee, but a little bit riskier for me than I think the Seattle offense, because with Seattle, you know who they're going to go to. They're going to go Jackson Jigba. They're going to go to A.J. Barner. They're going to go to Kenneth Walker. With the New England offense, a lot, they can go a lot of different ways, and they also have been shown, at least recently, that they may struggle offensively for a lot of the game. And so I like the Stephon Diggs anytime touchdown, because I think if someone's going to score a passing touchdown, it's going to be Stephon Diggs. And Ramondre, like I said, that's a massive key for me for them to win the game. And so if you believe that New England is going to win the game, that's who I think you go with. But if you don't think they are, I think you go the other way.
All right, here's where I get to get a little bit nerdy, okay?
Also, by the way,
what?
Facts.
Oh, absolutely. I appreciate that. Here are my 2 sleepers, and here's one that specifically I like. If you feel like the Patriots are going to win this football game, then this is the man you're going to make your money off right here, Travion Henderson. Once we get out of 30 rushing yards, we are in the money range, okay? Anytime touchdown at 480, I love. The first to 10 or 20 rushing yards, if he decides to break off a big run, plus 1,700 and plus 1,900. Now, Ken, what are you talking about? Travion Henderson hasn't been around in weeks. Little stat that I learned. Okay. Seattle plays the highest percentage of split safety coverage in the NFL. Against split safety coverage, Travion Henderson has 68 carries for 319 yards, 2 touchdowns, averaging 5 yards a carry.
Look at you.
If Seattle comes out and plays this defense, there is a chance. My computer was unplugged. I just figured out what all the problems were. My Mac just yelled at me to plug it in. If they go into a lot of that 2 split safety, or into that split safety, Travion Henderson has an opportunity to explode for some big runs. And hey, second, third carry of the game, or maybe even the second drive. Maybe they stall on the first drive and Ramondre Stevenson doesn't pick up many yards. And they come out in the second drive. They go into that split safety look. Travion Henderson busts out a 25-yard run, and he just knocked both of those off the list. Those are great odds there for Travion Henderson. And yes, I appreciate that, Pops. Thank you. Listen, stolen stat, but a stat in itself. Kayshon Boutte, the deep threat basically for the Patriots. I mean, as much as Stephon Diggs gets the hype, this is the guy that when he can get rolling in this offense, does explode for some big plays. You get some decent odds once we hit 30 yards. I mean, that could be one catch. Drake May, especially late in the game, if they're down, just trying to dump the ball out to any guy he possibly can. I mean, 3 receptions. We're already in the money there. Anytime plus 360, first touchdown plus 1,800. Listen, I'm trying out here. And then some other stuff just for the Patriots. Their total touchdowns over 2.5 plus 196. 3 touchdowns is not. I mean, if we have a high scoring game, that's not a lot. But if these defenses look good, they're going to ruin a lot of these. Patriots obviously plus 4.5 plus 194 on the money line.
Wow.
Over under, as we said, 45.5.
I think all those down the bottom are supposed to be Patriots.
Yeah, those are supposed to say Patriots, and they don't. I apologize. Patriots to score in all 4 quarters, plus 250. It's what happens when you copy and paste. Patriots, I like this one, an alternate spread. Hey, if you're a Patriots fan and you're like, listen, no, you don't believe in me, I got this, especially for Nick, somebody who says 20-10. Patriots alternate spread of minus 6.5 plus 150. If you think the Patriots are going to win, click that alternate spread and you will make some dollars. And then I know it's a Seattle Patriots defense, an anytime touchdown plus 850 plus 4,000 on the first one. Once again, call for me.
Yep.
Oh, actually, here, I'll leave it in because I'll set it up because it's going to pop in on the screen. I apologize. Drew, we get through the game. What does everybody else like to bet on? The MVP. Let's talk about your MVP favorites. Now, if you're going to bet on MVP, what is in the right near the dollar sign is what you need to pair it with. If you believe in Sam Darnold, now listen, quarterbacks have been the MVP minus some wide receivers. So we'll get to those, but Sam Darnold plus 115, parlay that with 2+ passing touchdowns. If Sam Darnold's going to win the MVP, he's going to perform. Put those together. Those are good odds. Drake May plus 230 with those 2 passing touchdowns. If Drake May is going to win the MVP, he's going to have to come alive for the Patriots and throw it around. So if you're going to take one of those quarterbacks to win it, put it with that. That's easy money. Now, and you'll like these, Mr. Champion of every other position on offense minus the quarterback.
Yes.
If you believe somebody else will win it, you take them and their odds and you pair that with, it's right there. It's its own little section. Super Bowl MVP plus 2 touchdown score. Why? Because if one of these guys wins it, they're going to have a big game. Jackson Smith and Jigba plus 550. Kenneth Walker Jr. plus 850. Ramondre Stevenson plus 3,000. Rashid Shaheed, Stephon Diggs, both at plus 4,500. DeMarcus Lawrence, we got our first defensive player, and Cooper Kupp plus 10,000. Obviously, I mean, the top 3 names, I didn't get Travion on there. He's down there at the bottom as well. You can make some good money off of this. If you just believe in the quarterback, that's fine. You're still getting positive odds that you can parlay with the 2 passing touchdowns. If you're going with any other quarterback, you're getting good odds no matter what.
No, I agree. Honestly, I think this is a tough one for me. One, personally, I want Sam Darnold to win an MVP just so everyone, shuts up.
Yep.
But I could see the issue, I think, is if Jackson Smith and Jigba does well enough to earn an MVP, Sam Darnold's getting the MVP. Same with Stephon Diggs and Rashid Shaheed and Cooper Kupp. I think the quarterback of that team, regardless of how well the wide receiver does, is going to get the MVP. Now, we could get some. Yep.
Go ahead. I have something else.
I was going to say, now, we could get some interesting ones with Kenneth Walker, Ramondre Stevenson. That would be, I think, more likely to me than a wide receiver. And then DeMarcus Lawrence has to have, I think, 2 fumble recoveries for a touchdown and like 4 sacks to win it. So I would say my favorites are the quarterbacks. And then potentially, if you think that the winning team is going to have a quarterback struggle, go for the running back.
I like that. Before I get to basically just a bunch of fun ones that I really like, Super Bowl favorites 4.5 points and higher are 1-10 in the last 11 Super Bowls. Keep that in mind. Underdogs have won 3 straight and have covered the last 5 straight. Something to think about. Betting trends are leaning towards the Patriots. Also, something to think about now. Weather plays a factor in what I'm about to say. However, it's worth pointing out Sam Darnold and Drake May over 200 yards passing in only 2 of their last 5 games.
Yeah.
Just something to think about there. All right. Last but not least, here's some fun ones. Some stuff to just throw in randomly. Any quarter to end scoreless plus 260. It happens a lot. I'm just going to throw that in there. Kenneth Walker the third and Ramondre Stevenson 5+ rushing yards in each quarter plus 490, 25 in each half plus 600. I like that one a lot. Each team to have a touchdown and field goal in each half plus 1400s. We're making money now. If you want to get really in the deep weeds, a Marcus Jones touchdown or a Kyrus Tonga touchdown, 2,200 and 7,500. Yeah, baby. Seahawks and Patriots special team touchdown odds are there as well, plus 1,200, plus 2,000. Those are fun. I mean, a blocked field goal, a blocked punt, to kick return, you never know. An opening kickoff return for a touchdown, plus 8,000. Any lineman to score an offensive touchdown, plus 2,500. What have I talked about all show? The playbook is wide open. There's nothing left. Maybe somebody gets close to the goal line and runs that big jumbo set. Maybe they throw it to an offensive lineman. You never know. Then we get into some records. We've talked about the running game. Super Bowl records, receiving 216 yards. Maybe Jackson Smith and Jigba has the biggest game of his life and breaks that record, plus 3,500. As I did mention, we keep talking about the running backs. Now, I know that on the Patriots side, it is Ramondre and Travion. But on Seattle side, it's just Kenneth Walker. Maybe he runs all over this Patriots defense for a Super Bowl record, 206 yards, plus 10,000 there. And then if you really want to get into the weeds, a Super Bowl score repeat, Patriots 28, Seahawks 24. That is plus 35,000. And a couple of these are fun, but I didn't put them in. They're called repeat specials. The final Seattle drive to end in an interception, like they did on the goal line, plus 950. And an interception thrown with under a minute to go in the fourth quarter, plus 650. Some stuff to keep an eye on there. We in Ohio cannot bet on some of the extra fun stuff, so I didn't actually put them on the slide this year. Charlie Puth is doing the anthem. There's over-unders on not just the length of that, but how long the note-free takes as well. Coin toss, Gatorade color, all of the fun stuff. If you're in those markets, tap in and have fun with it and spend some money for us because we can't bet on those things. But that's it. Our last gambling segment of the football season is over. I hope you all make some money. I hope I make more. I actually just hope I make a little bit. I'm not even going to lie. But shout out to my Rapids gambling chat as well. We'll be cooking up some stuff. They had some stuff in there. I was going to try to put together a Rapids parlay, but these guys aren't betting that parlay this early in the week. So I'll wait. I'll be getting mine from Darwin about 5 minutes before kickoff.
Yeah. Whew. Oh, and don't worry. I will be asking for screenshots an hour before.
I will just send you the link. This is what we do as adults. We just send the link. So when you click it, you open your FanDuel account and it loads right there for you.
That's crazy. Whew. All right. That says as much Super Bowl talk as I want to get into. I think now we just got to watch the game. But we still got one more segment left.
All right. I think the only thing that could bring me back after being exhausted from doing all this gambling chat. Let's do it. I'm excited.
Yes. Another week of EPL has come and gone. And Ken, we both had crazy games.
Yeah.
We'll start with the two middle ones. Everton 1-1 draw over Brighton. Nate, you know, it happens. Honestly, it's not a bad result. Just, you know, that's kind of where you're at right now as a team. And then Newcastle 4-1 losers from Liverpool. Dad, it was close for a minute, and then Liverpool just kind of ran all over you. The defense couldn't stop Liverpool at all.
Let me give it to those two, and then we'll do R2. First of all, shout out to Nate. Shout out to Nate, man. Nate is all in on Everton football. He said between all of the FIFA that we play, the footy segment on the show, and just he wanted to get in. He dove in. He found him a team. He didn't cherry pick a top team. Okay. We didn't cherry pick our top teams. We grew into our teams, but he didn't cherry pick a top team. He's in on Everton. He was watching his game. He's in. A decent result. I think Everton is in. I think both of these clubs are actually going in opposite directions. I think Brighton is starting to take a step back after a couple high years, and I think Everton is starting to turn things around. They made a good transfer. They picked up a kid from you. But next year, this is a 2-1 result. Maybe even later in the season, it's a 2-1 result. Right now, it's a 1-1 result. It's not a bad result. And then Newcastle, we're flying high for a minute there with a 1-0 lead over Liverpool. And then, yes, it completely collapsed. That is what this Liverpool team can do in spurts.
Absolutely. But they can also give up that, which is kind of how that works. Into the results that matter.
All in, baby. Welcome to the
Chelsea 3-2 winners over West Ham.
Ooh.
Ken, they had us in the first half, not gonna lie. After an amazing result, comeback win against Napoli midweek to auto qualify for the round of 16 in the Champions League, we immediately go down 2-0 to a relegation team at halftime. And I'm thinking, oh, okay, so that's how this team is going to be. They are going to be high and they're going to be very, very low. And then they did something that I don't think they've done in a very, very long time, and that is come back and win after being down 2 goals. Ken, this team looks determined. This team doesn't look frazzled by teams that, you know, potentially give them fits. It was shown against Napoli. It was shown here. Am I ecstatic? No, this shouldn't have been a much more comfortable result, but it shows that this team is bought into Liam Rosenor, and he is getting the talent out of this team that he needs to get results, and just needs a little bit more help on the defensive end when it comes to transfers or Levi Colwill coming back from injury to truly start competing at a high top 3 level.
Now, I spend my Saturday and Sunday mornings watching as much Premier League as I can. The games that I miss, I watch through the advanced highlights, which are nice. I watched this whole game. So I watched West Ham take the 2-0 lead and was kind of like, "Ooh, I'm not going to text him yet, but I'm ready." And then Yao Pedro gets you one back, 57th minute, and then from the 70th minute on, I mean, even from then, from the 57th, as soon as you scored one, the pressure was just all over West Ham, and you were all over them on their half and final third of the field. Then after the second one, the dam was just opened, and you spent from the 70th minute to that equalizer basically just playing the ball into their box. Something a little different about this Chelsea team. And I wanted to be critical because, yes, you did almost lose to a team that is probably going to be relegated. But these are the games that if you want the difference between 1 and 2, or the difference between 1 and 2, 3, and 4 are week in, week out getting results no matter what. The difference between 2, 3, and 4 and 5, 6, and 7 is recovering and making sure that after we drop the result, we don't let it snowball. And this Chelsea team is proving, hey, if you're going to be in the top 4, you have to win these games. And you did it. There's a little bit different there.
Yeah, and I agree. And I think the mentality was there under Maresca, but the talent was there under Maresca. I think the mentality is starting to shift now with Liam. So we'll see kind of what happens there. Kind of a disappointing result midweek against Arsenal, but I think that he just got the tactics wrong in the final 30 minutes. But we move on from there. Moving on to a fun result that for the first time I was actually disappointed in because I couldn't go ahead of you in the table. Manchester United 3-2 win over Fulham. Ken, you had it and then you didn't, and then you had it again right at the death there. Similar feeling to me, different state of the club. How are we feeling?
Oh, first of all, shout out to Casemiro, who scores the opening goal, does the 6 celebration for his son. There was a good video of his son reacting to it too. Shout out to him. It's for the kids, man. It's for the kids, man. Love you too, Nettie. I'll talk to you soon. The difference between Michael Carrick ball and Ruben Amorim ball, besides the stuff that I've talked about for weeks, and not just there. And it was simplified for me by one of the pundits in England, and I loved it. It's not so much that he's playing a back 4. People are playing in their natural positions. You put Bruno back in at the 10, and oh my goodness, look what happens. You put Casemiro and Kobe Mano behind him. You bring in Ugarte as well. You give him that defensive help, and oh my goodness, what Bruno Fernandes can do with Mbeumo, with Cunha, with Dallo, and with Sesko finally. The real difference is this is a 2-2 game or a 3-2 Fulham win under Ruben Amorim. We don't win this game. Michael Carrick, it goes 2-2, and there was absolutely a belief in me. Yes, I was mad about the equalizer, but as soon as this team put the ball back in play, I immediately said, yeah, we're gonna have an opportunity here to win this game. I mean, Bruno played in an amazing ball, great touch and finish by Benjamin Sesko to win the game. But it's not cockiness; it's a confident in what I know I'm going to get out of this team. And with this setup, and when you have Cunha and Mbeumo, Dallo, Bruno Fernandes, and Sesko, a combination of those 5 attacking. I'm confident I'm going to score goals. Yeah, I'm confident we're going to have an opportunity to win the game no matter what. Why wouldn't I?
No, I think you're absolutely right. And I think one thing that stood out to me when I was kind of going back through this game, one thing that surprised me in a good way, but also in a still yet to be seen way is, I wouldn't say you got dominated possession, but you very much gave Fulham the ball for a lot of this game, which has been the theme under Michael Carrick so far. We thought the first 2 is because it was City and Arsenal, but obviously we're seeing under Fulham it's the same way. But the fact you're still able to kind of soak up that pressure and create these opportunities in the attack, even with limited possession, means you don't have to dominate to really be effective, which is a very good thing to have, especially with the weapons that you have. However, the question I had last week now gets delayed multiple weeks, where now again, what happens when you're going to play against a team in a low block? You play Tottenham at the weekend, you play West Ham after that. That's probably when you're going to start seeing it, and that's when the true test of, I think, Michael Carrick is when you don't have an open game where you are the ones counterattacking. You're the ones that are going to get counterattacked. How are you going to break down a team and win those games? But so far, so good. You can win these open games. You can win these counterattacking games. It's just the other ones.
How can Michael Carrick adapt his tactics if he does?
Yes.
I've given praise to Michael Carrick, but I'm also going to point something out. The easy thing to do his first tenure and now this one, and the same thing with Ali's beginning tenure when he took over, is Ali's team specifically, Carrick's team this first and second time. In between, for those different coaches, they've tried to adapt their style to the team. However, what both Ali and Michael Carrick have done in both of his runs is said, I have an abundance of attacking talent. we're going to counterattack. And when we do, we're going to be swift and deadly and is going to win us games. Once the next coach came in to try to impose his style, it faltered. One of them gets that job. They kickstart the counterattacking football, and we roll. Now, Ruben Amron tried to play some of that, just not very well, although he did like to have possession of the ball. You were correct. For Spurs, 54% of the possession. But yeah, like my thing with the Spurs game is, yeah, you can sit back in the low block, but now at the same time, I have my number 10 in his number 10 role, which allows him to be more creative and figure some things out. So, no, but I agree. The test is coming up with those other teams. I do have to take one little dig at you. Shout out to now Chelsea player Alejandro Garnacho, who before Chelsea's cup tie with Arsenal this week had a comment to where he said, well, if Manchester United can go in there and beat Arsenal, then it should be easy for us. You then lost to Arsenal.
Yeah, I don't know why the man who had, honestly, visually wow, watching him play against West Ham, one of the worst halves of football in Chelsea history. And yeah, I'm comparing him to Bakayoko, if no one knows who this is, back in 2018, where he lost the ball 4 times and got red carded in the first half. He was on par with that for this half. So the fact that he was talking at all after that, no idea why.
The clip, well, it was before, but I get you. The clip that I saw, which was hilarious, was him turn the ball over 3 times in one counterattacking possession. It was just classic Garnacho. Sorry, bro. I had to throw that one out there.
No, it's fine. And I think now I see your frustration, because he can score 2 goals in a cup tie against Arsenal, in the first leg and go, okay, I can see the potential here. I see how he can be dangerous. And then he has a game like West Ham, and you're like, what are you doing? What's not clicking game to game?
I agree with you, but I disagree a bit. The problem isn't that. Squad rotation players that are not your everyday guys are going to have bad runs of form.
Sure.
The problem with Garnacho is he doesn't stop talking, and his people and his representatives don't stop talking. I think it's his brother who mouths off a lot on Instagram, who had something to say every time he wasn't in the starting 11 for Manchester United. That's the problem. It's not just that you have the bad run of forms. Those can be overlooked. It's the fact that you are constantly talking, and when it's good, great. You get all the talent, you get all the love, and you get all the covers, and you get all the coverage. When it's bad, you're getting shipped out of town.
So. Agreed. And I also will say, unlike average squad players, the lows for Garnacho can be real low, but the highs can also be really high. He is very much kind of Jadon Sancho, what we had with him last year, where it's very highs and lows, but kind of at a more wild level. And so I don't like it. I truly don't.
I'm with you there. All right, that'll do it. NBA trade deadline special in the book.
Oh.
Super Bowl preview.
I forgot about this, honestly.
Oh, yeah. There's matches this week. City and Liverpool. That's the one we care about.
Yeah, big one. I gotta win. I should win. You should win. Everton go for a draw, I think. And then Newcastle should win.
There we go. Now that'll do it. NBA trade deadline in the books. Super Bowl preview in the books. Super Bowl degeneracy in the books, and about to be in my books, in my FanDuel books. Drew, we're going to shift up the schedule just a little bit. We will be back Tuesday for our Super Bowl review. We'll go through the game. We'll talk about it. We're going to get it in Tuesday, because we know once we hit that Monday, Tuesday range, we're not going to want to talk about it much more. So we'll get in there. We'll recap some of the bets. I'll let you know some of the fun stuff that hit, stuff like that. Appreciate you, Pops. Love you as always. Drew, final shout outs.
Yes. I'm going to try to not make this long. Thank you everyone watching, liking, commenting, however you help support the show. Thank you. My shout out, and it's one that doesn't need to go because it's natural, but it always is. Jose Ramirez. It was announced this week that he signed another extension, another team discounts. obviously he's going to be the highest paid player at his age range when he gets there, but it's fully deserved. He had a quote in an interview where they asked him how, if he feels the connection to Cleveland, and he says, I'm 50-50, 50% Dominican, 50% Clevelander. And if that doesn't tug at the heartstrings, I had a conversation with someone the other day. They said, where is Jose Ramirez on the most beloved Cleveland athletes? And I had a hard time think of anyone else that was number one, maybe LeBron, but he is so divisive that it has to be Jose. He was this close to getting us a championship. He has taken team discounts. He has been with us forever. And, oh, yeah, he's finished top 3 in MVP voting 4 separate times. I love him. The whole city of Cleveland loves him. And I can't. The only hope is that this now is a lock, that we build a team around him, because obviously we talk about Hammy deserving a ring, or we talked about Jim Donovan needing a ring. Jose Ramirez deserves a ring just as much as those guys, just for how much that he has stuck with us. It hasn't been bad. It's not like we've been terrible, but through constant youth movements and constant 500 season where we're barely making the playoffs
and change,
he deserves it. And so shout out to Jose Ramirez, honestly, one of, if not the best Cleveland athlete in terms of what he means to the city.
First of all, leave it to you to get baseball in the show no matter what.
Spring training's next week, damn it.
I know it is. We're already back. And I'll keep this short, but in terms of athletes who have spent majority of all of their career here, I think it's fair to say that Jose Ramirez is number one. LeBron left us and came back. I know Jim Brown is. I know Browns fans will scream for Jim Brown, but we're talking ancient history.
He also retired early because he got into beef with the owner and wanted to do movies.
I think Jose, and especially now that he climbs Guardian stats, and and he's top 5 and he's top in all of these categories. Yeah, I think it's easy to say that Jose Ramirez is closing in on greatest Cleveland Guardian of all time, and yes, greatest Cleveland sports athlete of all time in terms of longevity, what he means to the city, and how high of his peak has been and how long he's been as well. I'm with you there. That's a great shout out. Same as him. Shout out to everybody who's been watching, liking, commenting, subscribing, all of that. Give us some love on your way out too. Come on baseball. But for now, come on Super Bowl and come on these bets. Enjoy the weekend. Get out and do some stuff this weekend. I will be at our Rapids. I know it is. I will be at our Rapid signing event on Saturday. We're having the guys come in, sign the official contracts. I'm going to be doing a little bit of media. Might snag a player or two for some interviews. You never know. But we'll have some stuff there. And then Sunday, cook up some good food, cook up some wings, cook up whatever you like, and have yourself an enjoyable Super Bowl Sunday. We will see you Tuesday for our Super Bowl recap. For little bro, I am big bro. We are out of here. And as always, please remember to love yours.
Hey, Ken's got fire and a wild hot take. Hey, Andrew's stats make the whole place shake. Hey, laughing loud when your team goes down. Hey, Straub boys run this sports town. Show! This is the Straub Bro Sports Show! Sundays, Mondays, we live for the fight. Hey, college game day and Thursday night. Hey, rivals fall and the banter flies. We bleed our teams till the day we die.